Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Football Fantasy. This is our special World Cup edition. I have my friend here, Divya Kumar Kher, and today, obviously, we have so much to talk about, right? So much has happened since our last podcast, and we have so much of catch up to do in those terms. And of course, we have the things like the World Cup in Qatar. We also have the explosive interview that Cristiano Ronaldo has given. He normally has fireworks on the field, but he has done it off the field as well now. So we'll be looking forward to we'll be discussing and analyzing what the repercussions would be. And of course, something which has just happened in the past few minutes, we have come across a picture for Louis Vuitton, a very interesting picture, which we will tell you about as we go ahead with the episode. So, Divya, first and foremost, how are you today? How have you been?
Awesome. Awesome. As always, awesome. Lots of breaking news stuff this week. Entire week was controversial week. Needless to talk to say what it was all about. I know, every Man United fan knows. In fact, the whole world knows. Even people who are not involved that much in football know about it. What Ronaldo's interview was, the impact that it had. So yes, I'm sure we're going to talk about that as well. But yes, I'm fantastic. Excited for the World Cup. Man United. Yes. I love the club and I like to watch the Champions League, Europa League, Premier League, everything. But now is the time to focus on country. The World Cup is an important event, comes once in 4 years, and one of the biggest stages of international football. Yes, I'm excited. I'm sure you are as well, Prashant.
Yes, of course. We I am indeed excited, and I would just like to say that there has obviously this has not been the build up to this World Cup has not been uh, as
Mm,
positive as the other ones. But then again, the game itself, the game is the game. So that is something which I really do look forward to. It is indeed important for all the players involved, managers involved, and the fans involved. The question is
mm,
that how the fans will be kept there, how they will stay there. That's a different question. We will talk a little bit about that. But overall, the World Cup is a big thing, and obviously it is in winter. A lot of people did say earlier that. Of course, a lot of players
mm,
have been injured because of their because this is right bang in the middle of the football season. But at the same time, there has been a counter argument where people have also stated that because this is in the middle of the season, players who do participate in the World Cup will be more ready for it because they are more in the
mm.
group. So, what do you think about that,
Correct.
Divya? Do you think which side of the coin are you with?
Yeah, I mean, before I speak my mind, MShay is here. Hola says
Yes.
MShay.
Hola,
Like
mi
my Insta
señora.
post, otherwise I will call
Yes.
Piers Morgan. That's a good one. That's a good one. Good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So yes,
I
to
can
answer.
understand that he would also feel betrayed. But is he as charismatic as Ronaldo? Like Ronaldo mentioned himself, he's charismatic. I'm not sure if MC is that charismatic. He is, but not Ronaldo level yet. Yeah. So
So
yeah,
yeah,
Divya, what do you think about the debate here?
so to answer that question, I mean, yeah, it's simple. I mean, the people who have been involved in the club football and now will be continuing football and will have more game time compared to other players, who will return after the World Cup with no playing time. But you also got to consider otherwise, they'll have their batteries recharged, they'll go on a holiday, be will be fresh, they'll come back early and train again with the young players and they will be fully trained. Whereas players who performed, given everything for the country, sweat, blood, and want to win the World Cup, they'll be much exhausted. Yes, their football fitness level will be much better, maybe, but it's again a big debate. It depends on individual to individual. Like you're thinking of giving Erling Haaland a rest, for 2 or 3 weeks,
Yeah,
and then comes back early, trains with the under 23s and the A teams, and then he's much more fresh than your Harry Kane or your Darwin Núñez or the other strikers that are in the Premier League. He's going to bang more goals than he's banging right now. So the goals galore is not going to stop for Erling Haaland. And again, a lot of players will be injured. A lot of players may not be fully fit. So interesting to see how the first 2 3 games will pan out after the World Cup. But yes, something this is nothing which is not happened in the past. Not that I know since I've been watching the game. So it will be a
Yeah,
first time experience, and again, only time will tell, what was better. I certainly feel that players who got rest, not participating in the World Cup, will have a good 2 or 3 weeks off, and then they'll come earlier than the other players, train with the, under 23s and the young players, and they will be fully trained to play the game, and then I think they will start much fresher than the players who already been in the World Cup, haven't had much break. I think World Cup ends around 18th or 20th December, and then a week after that, the Premier League begins. So just a week's gap. So I don't think that's enough after you're playing so many games in the World Cup, and the intensity that will be around in the international football, that is huge. So again, it's a debate that will only be decided at the end of the World Cup. We'll only come to know. But yes, I would love to know your thoughts on this, Prashant.
yeah. So I was just going to point out the
I'll
same
just
thing.
uh,
Like
I'll I'll
anyone
just
who, sorry,
sorry to interrupt. I'll just turn off my camera for a minute to adjust something. In the meanwhile, it's 3 minutes. Ronaldo says M shit. Yeah, Prashant, go on. I'm listening. I'll just
yeah.
turn off my camera
So
for a minute.
sure,
Yeah.
okay. So, like the reason I asked you this question was
Mm,
again mainly due to mainly again for one particular player that you mentioned, Erling Haaland, and he has been the player whom everyone has been pointing out to that he is not going to
mm,
participate in the World Cup. He is already playing so well, and when he
mm,
when the Premier League resumes, he will be well rested. The rest of the teams, like most of his rivals, let's say like rival strikers, like for example Harry Kane, of course, or Darwin Nunez, as you mentioned, even Ronaldo,
mm,
if he, if he, which he was earlier supposed to play, or Rashford, they will all not be rested. They will all be, exhausted from the World Cup, so they would not have that rest. Erling Haaland, on the other
mm,
hand, will be recharged. He'll be chilling in Dubai. That is what I'm told. He'll be getting warm weather training over there, so that's a very different
mm,
thing. I mean, he's already so good. If he gets rest and comes back, he is going to be deadlier. So that is a very scary, scary prospect. So yeah, I mean, that is one part of the argument. But then again, that also does apply to even normal, the normal time when the World Cup happens, right? Even
mm,
uh, even if it were in June or July, where it normally happens, this thing
mm,
is always going to be that the players who are not going to play will get extra rest, be it Euros,
mm,
World Cup, or whatever. So that, I mean, while I understand that argument, my only thing is that I'm more concerned about the players who are participating rather than the ones who aren't. Like
mm.
we already know that players like Sadio Mane are not going to be there in the tournament.
Mm.
He is
Correct.
apparently been out injured, and a lot of other players too. Not that I can recollect their names, but I think a lot of French players
Mm.
are out specifically. I think Kante is out, Pogba is out. Uh,
Yeah.
so that is not exactly a good thing, right? So that is the side that I would like to shed light on, that
Mm.
because it is happening next season, right? A lot of the players had to actually play a lot more matches. Like I can recall how the Champions League was scheduled, and you would see that
Mm.
all the European ties were within 1 week of each other, rather than the normal fortnight. So a lot of
Correct.
the matches were just being held within a week of each other. So the
Mm.
players obviously would be exhausted from all of it, and that is what is apparently being extolled here. So that was what I was. That is the point where I was looking to point out. But overall, it is a World Cup, so yeah, it is what it is. We just have to move on with it at this point. Not much we can do. Uh,
Mm.
okay, so yeah, let's just focus on the groups as per the
Yeah,
screen that you shared.
I'll just update that. There's some issue.
Mhm.
Hold on a minute. Okay, yeah. We have it in front of us. You want
Okay.
me to zoom more? Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
This is
Okay,
better? Yeah.
fine. I can see it now. Yeah, it's better. So. All right, let's start with each of the groups here. Uh, of course, we have the first match tomorrow itself, which is the host Qatar taking on Ecuador, and the other two teams in the group being Senegal and Netherlands. So, generally, traditionally speaking, if we just go back to traditional powerhouses, the teams to qualify here would be Netherlands and Ecuador because they
No,
are
no, 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 no,
more.
no, no, no.
But I
I
mean,
don't agree with that.
I'm going. I'm not saying they're the favorites. I'm saying that these are the more traditional powerhouses. But now, obviously, I would say Senegal are in with a shout, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes.
So
Of course,
I
of course.
think it will be
Mane isn't there.
apart from Netherlands.
साडियो माने
Sorry.
नहीं है, but ठीक है, उनकी
Hmm.
टीम अच्छी है.
Hmm. Exactly. So Netherlands will go through, no doubt. But I think Senegal, it might be a close tussle between Senegal and Ecuador for the second spot. Qatar, uh, despite all the rumors which are being spread about them, I don't think they will qualify. And also, I would just like to say that Qatar is basically the Manchester City of international
Hmm.
football, right? Or PSG, which would be more accurate for them because a lot of their players are naturalized players. They aren't Qataris. They, I mean, they have now got a few more of their locals, which is from the Aspire Academy, which is a Qatari academy. But still, even those players are from they have their roots in other African or Middle Eastern countries. They are not purely 100% Qatari residents. So it is a very strange thing that, but
Hmm.
then that's what Gulf states do. Even China has a lot of Brazilians in their squad. So
Hmm.
that's just how some teams are managing themselves these days. But okay,
Hmm.
coming back to the group, I think Netherlands will qualify, and I would really like that Senegal would qualify along with them. Ecuador
Hmm.
would be good, but I think they have, just for I think Senegal are the better team somehow. I just get the feel that they should go through. They will go through.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think, Divya?
I like Senegal. I like Senegal. They just won
Mm-hmm.
the the African Cup, and
Cup
of
of
course
yeah.
they are missing Sadio Mane, but they still got Koulibaly. They've got Edouard Mendy. They Idrissa Gana as well.
Uh, Divya, are you there?
These players will make a difference. So I am not saying that they will top the group, but I think they will at least be second in the group, behind Netherlands. Don't you think so?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That is my point. I see Netherlands breathing
Hmm.
through this group. I don't see anyone challenging them much, but you never know because you know like we had a case with Germany in the past World Cup, right? Like they
Hmm.
were knocked out. So these days, football is unpredictable because of how globalized the game is. But ideally, it would be Netherlands and Senegal. That is whom I believe would go to. Uh, Group B is a very interesting group. It's, I mean, I don't know who like if it was like they intentionally choose this group, but it is very interesting. There are so many angles to this, right? To this particular group, we have England, we have Wales. So we have basically two British teams, right? And then we have the USA, and USA and the Brits they have a kind of a rivalry among themselves. And then we have Iran. So people are also saying that there is an angle of Iran and USA, which is also interesting.
Imagine, imagine if it was England, Wales, and Scotland in one group.
Yeah, and the USA. That would have been great, right? Like football versus soccer. That is what we would have
Yeah,
had
yeah.
there.
Actually, football. It is actually football or soccer because England and US are in that group, and that debate is always there. Why are you calling it soccer and why you call it football? We don't
Yeah,
call this game as football here. We call it soccer. So that debate is
yeah,
always there. But yeah, it's an interesting group. Of course, England are favorites here, but one should not count out both Wales and USA. They are capable. Both these teams are capable of producing an upset. Iran not so much. But I wouldn't rule them out giving a fight. They will definitely give a fight because I remember I think it was back in that World Cup in Brazil or what was it? I think they had kept Argentina quiet and then it required that wonder goal from Lionel Messi outside the box. Where
Yeah.
I know that was one of the best goals I've seen in the World Cup. 10 Iran defenders inside the box, he still managed to take a shot and score the goal. But yes, they gave Argentina a run for the money. So they will give a fight, but I think the two favorites in this group, my opinion, it's England and USA. Again, people will debate about Wales, but I think USA have got a bit better players. I think England and USA are my top two contenders from this group. Your
Okay.
thoughts on this, Prashant?
Yeah. So I actually think, I mean, USA are a very good team, and they are they have a lot of rising stars in there. But and the great thing about US is that they have really been progressing. Their football has progressed a lot. We
Mhm.
have so many of their players playing in Europe in several leagues. So in that aspect, yes, USA are a strong team, but it's not like. I mean, I would still say that they seem to be somewhat. I mean, this is my opinion, but they are still somewhat not so good as a team themselves. Like, okay, individually, yes, they are good players, but I'm not sure if they'll click as a team because
Mhm.
correct me if I'm wrong, they've not even won the Central America Gold Cup, which they have the CONCACAF Gold Cup, which is
Yeah, they haven't. They haven't.
Central
Yeah,
American Championship. I
they
believe
haven't. They
Canada
haven't.
won that, right?
Correct, correct. They haven't.
The
Yeah.
one with
Mhm.
Alfonso Davis. So
Mhm.
yeah. So uh, I mean, I don't really see them going through. In my opinion, I think
Mhm.
it would actually be England and Wales. I think Wales have the experience of major tournaments too.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
They
They
have
do.
also done, yeah. So and they have done well in the two of the previous major tournaments, right? So they did well in the Euros and the previous World Cup before that. They did pretty well there too. So,
Mhm.
uh, okay, my Bluetooth battery is a little low. I was just notified, but just coming back to this. So, uh, yeah, so I think it'll be Wales and England who would go through. England
Mhm.
are like a very, something happens to them when they come to a World Cup. Like they in the past, I remember that they was in 2010, I believe it was that they were in the same group as it was the USA, and they just played through. So
Yeah, yeah.
hopefully that
Yes, yes.
is not the case.
Fabio Capello,
And
Fabio Capello,
yeah,
manager. Yeah.
exactly. Uh, and of course, with Gareth Southgate, they have had a decent record in major tournaments, although they have not
Hmm.
won anything, but they have a decent record.
Sir
Whether they
Gareth
win
of
it,
Southgate.
sorry,
Sir Gareth of Southgate.
Sir Gareth of Southgate, yes,
Of
of course.
Southgate.
And apparently, Mauricio Pochettino wants to replace him. I have no idea why would he give an interview stating that he wants to replace Gareth Southgate.
Is that
But,
true? Is that actually true?
right? He has,
I didn't hear about that. It was news to
yeah,
my
yeah.
ears.
So he did give an interview, and apparently that's where he revealed that he is open to replacing Gareth Southgate.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know where that is coming from because I was thinking that he would just get
Hmm.
another managerial job in the Premier League, and that would be the thing for him to
Hmm.
do. I don't think
Hmm.
he would work at a national level, like looking at his record in the past few jobs that he has done,
Yeah.
right? Like
Hmm.
he didn't do that well at PSG. That was his previous job, and yes, after PSG, he has obviously he hasn't been employed, but that even then, like just I mean, he was good at Spurs, but for the national team, I think things are very different, right?
Hmm.
You
Correct.
need,
Correct. Hmm.
yeah, I would if it were someone like a Mourinho, I would still say that yeah, that would work, but Pochettino, I don't think so. So anyway, uh, that's Group B done. Let's just move on to Group C, the group of Messi. Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. Okay, this is a very interesting group. Again, the Asian team here would be the favorite to finish bottom, but the second team after the traditional powerhouse of Argentina would be interesting. So I think between Mexico and Poland, there would be a bit of a tussle.
Yes, yes, there
Yes.
would be. Yes, I agree on
What do
that.
you think? Who of
Yeah,
these
it will be a
two
big
you
tussle.
think?
I think
Yeah.
Poland will, go through. Poland
Hmm.
is a bit better than Mexico. If you look at Mexico's team 10 years back, maybe that
Yeah.
Mexico team was better. But I am highly doubtful of the current Mexico team. Of course, they've got decent players, but I think Poland still has the upper hand, and I think Poland will go through. That is my opinion. And
Hmm.
I'm sure you think that the same way because उनके इतने प्लेयर्स जो 2014 वर्ल्ड कप में थे वो वैसे नहीं है वैसे प्लेयर्स नहीं है आई थिंक है उनके प्लेयर्स है कुछ कुछ है वो नापोली का क्या नाम है उसका हर्विंग लोजानो है फिर वो
Yeah.
एडिसन अल्वारेज है इसका आयक्स का एंड उसके अलावा आई
Mm.
थिंक वो हेक्टर हरेरा है not much of
Mm.
player that I remember but I think these are some
Mm.
few players unknown players जो top clubs के लिए खेलते हैं यूरोप में so yes I think
Yeah.
Poland does have a upper hand I would like to know your thoughts on this Prashant.
Yeah. So I do think the reason
Mhm.
uh, Mexico might just, I mean, I was just giving them a shout in there is because, again, traditionally, Mexico have a good record in the music tournament. They have
Mhm.
the experience. Poland, I don't think they have that much World Cup experience, but obviously they have participated in all of the other, like they participated in the
Mhm.
Euros and everything. So they
Mhm.
have that much
Mhm.
exposure. Uh,
Mhm.
but yeah, I do agree that Poland looks stronger on paper, and I think it
Mhm.
should be Argentina and Poland for Group C. So 11 goals
Yeah.
to get through in the knockout through to the knockout stage. So yeah, that would be Group C. Coming to Group D, France, Australia, Denmark, and Tunisia. What do you think here?
That's a simple choice. I think this is the most simplest of all the group. I think France and Denmark are clear favorites. Two fantastic teams. One of the highlights of the group stage will be the game between France and Denmark. Denmark don't count them out. Very interesting team. They've got fantastic players, some excellent
Yeah,
players, and you know, mm, when you watch them play, they'll play together like a team. There's a lot
yeah,
of team bonding between these players, and that's what we love about World Cup. Some of
and
the teams are fantastic. Some of the players turn up for the international squad much better than they play at the club level. I think Denmark is one of those squads, and don't count them out to even finish top of the group because France aren't the same France that they were in 2018 World Cup. They've not got Pogba. They haven't got Kante. I think personal Kimpembe is also injured and I think a couple of other players who are injured. Yes, they have Kamavinga, they have Chouameni, young players who haven't got the international experience as much that they would have liked to be. But yes, they've got Ben. I think Benzema is out, Prashant. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even Benzema is out, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not updated
I
on
think
that.
yeah, even Benzema is out for this World Cup. Varane will be out for a
Oh,
couple of games. So
okay.
yeah, I think
Yeah, those
uh,
are a lot of injuries to deal with. Yes, exactly. So,
so.
um,
Yes, I think
so
mhm.
sorry, please continue. Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's gone with the team Benzema, but he still remains a doubt. Maybe he'll play a part later in the tournament. So yeah, I'm just reading here. Both Rafael Varane and Karim Benzema are doubtful for the first game. So yeah, they're not completely ruled out. They will play some parts later, but right now for the first few game or two, they will not be participating because they're not fully because from what I'm
They're
reading
not.
right now on Twitter as well. Today morning's injury, Karim Benzema was injured. Today morning training, Benzema was injured. He was not fit, so his chances are pretty less. Varane may start the second game, but the first game against Australia, Varane is also ruled out. So I think Denmark
Okay.
have a pretty good chance to top this group.
Okay, of course. The reason, obviously, a lot of people will be rooting for Denmark is the Christian Eriksen factor. It will be so good
Yeah.
to see him play internationally again, and the team bonding you mentioned, Divya, that was one of the reasons. Like, obviously, it was very unfortunate that that he went that he became unconscious on the pitch, but and we are, I mean, on a human level, I'm just happy that he's okay. The fact that whether he's playing football or not is secondary, but the fact that he has also come back so well to be able to perform continuously for United and even for Denmark, especially the way he has been performing. So I think it's a really nice thing, and it would be great to see. I mean, if they make it all the way, it would be a really nice. It'll be a great fairy tale. So yeah, would be happy for them. I do think Denmark can actually top the group, simply because France, as you mentioned, they aren't the France that won in 2018. Um, and moreover, there is this apparently there's this champions curse, right? That's currently there. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
I know.
know. I will just. I mean, I think France are still good enough to go through,
Yeah.
uh,
They will.
but then again, stranger things have happened. So I'll just to spice it up a little bit, I'll say Denmark and Tunisia will go through. I don't even know how good Tunisia is. I don't know many of their players. I'll just admit that, but I just hope that yeah. But I would just want them to. I think they might be. If there is anyone who can, maybe challenge France, then it would be an African team like Tunisia. I don't think Australia can
Hmm. Hmm.
too much. So yeah, I'll just go with Denmark and Tunisia here. I'll just stick my neck out there. And yeah,
Hmm.
let's just move on to the next group.
So I
Group
think
E.
before we go on to the next game, I think Tunisia, I think, has got a Manchester United player, if I'm not wrong. Hannibal Mehri would be uh, playing,
PSG.
yeah. Hannibal Mehri would be participating. So yeah, all the best to him. Yeah.
Ah, nice. So who do you think will top this group? Denmark or France? Denmark.
I think France will top the group.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
France will top the group. Yeah. Mm.
Okay. Group E. David De Gea less Spain.
Mm.
I mean, actually, there are so many lessons in Spain right now, but they are still a good side. Spain, Costa Rica, Germany,
Mm.
and Japan.
Mm. Mm.
So I guess this is a pretty straightforward guess for you. Divya,
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think Germany and Spain, no doubt about that. And I think Germany will top the group. Spain got a lot of injuries, and I think Luis Enrique is a bit overconfident. He's got the guts of leaving players like Sergio Ramos and Thiago Alcantara out. That's huge risk. I'm not sure what's this Barcelona connection that he has. And I understand that he was a Barcelona player, a manager, but getting so many Barcelona players and keeping at home three of the top players in Sergio Ramos, David De Gea, and Alex Thiago Alcantara doesn't make any sense. Thiago Alcantara is one of the top midfielders. The way
But
he
Alcantara is
distribute.
actually an ex-Barcelona player, by the way, Divya.
Yeah, but then he's not playing for not with Barcelona. He's playing for Liverpool. I know he was playing for Barcelona for a very few time, and then he decided to go to Bayern Munich, and then he's come to Liverpool. But then again, I don't know what is this. You taking players like Morata, who've been disappointing, who've been very poor, pathetic, and then you topic players like Sergio Ramos, who is a warrior on the field. He's had a fantastic season for PSG. I know he was injured last season, but this season he's been brilliant. He's been started all the games for PSG. तो मुझे पता नहीं है क्यों ड्रॉप करना है उनको गावी पेद्री ठीक है अच्छे हैं दे आर फ्यूचर स्टार्स यार यू नीड दोज एक्सपीरियंस इन दैट टीम आई एम नॉट श्योर व्हाट इज दैट लॉजिक स्पेन हैज दे डू इट to a lot of times. Ander Herrera is a fantastic player, never played for Spanish national team, in a top major tournament. Because they are so
Yeah.
obsessed with Koke and Saul. They were so obsessed with Koke and Saul, never thought of giving chance to Ander Herrera. who overall you look at their career then compare it to Under is a better footballer, but I don't understand.
Agree.
So I think Germany is a fantastic team. Overall, people criticizing them. They have not had a good past couple of tournaments, but I think this will be the tournament that they will show that they are again a top side, and they've got players. Of course, Marco Reus is missing, but they have got enough players to win the World Cup. Again, it will take a lot of time, it'll take a lot of patience, and they will miss Tony Cruz, another midfielder who was one of the top players in Germany. But then, yes, I think they have a really good side, and I think they will top the group. My opinion, I think Germany will top the group, and Spain will finish second. Would like to know yours because this is one interesting group where
Yeah,
two top leagues are playing.
yeah. So I think it's a very straightforward, prediction in this case. I think Spain and Germany will go through as well. No
Mhm.
arguments there.
Mhm.
Germany will. I mean, yeah. Will Germany top the group? I'm not sure about it because
Mhm.
Spain. Obviously Spain, as you mentioned, they have a lot of players with it. But the thing with Spain is, specifically under Luis Enrique, is that whenever, like from what I have followed of them, is that whenever they click big. Like I think even against Germany on like on one of the in one of the matches they scored like 4 or 5. So like
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
that is something that I mean, although his squad selection is suspect, but Luis Enrique is, I think, one of the most decorated coaches at the World Cup. He's a Champions League
Mhm.
winner, La Liga and
Mhm.
Champions League winner with
Mhm.
Barca. So
Mhm.
we can't really count his experience out. Maybe he knows what he's doing. Who knows? So I still think they
No,
would
but
go
I
with,
still think, what is this point? You think Ramos is a veteran. What is Sergio Busquets then? Sergio Busquets has not had half decent season. He's been okay. He's been not all
mm,
that fantastic. I thought some of the games he played against top teams like Bayern and Inter, he looked an ordinary player and you can't blame him as well. He is catching up to him. But if you're picking him up, why are you leaving out Sergio Ramos? I understand the exclusion of David there because he wants a goalkeeper who can play with his feet as well. And David Day is not the most, comfortable on his feet. But the point of leaving out players like Thiago Alcantara and Ramos doesn't make any sense. And then you get players like Morata in the squad. Well, Morata is one of the most overrated strikers I've ever seen. He's played for top clubs. He's been the luckiest player, and he's been a flop wherever he's gone. You flop at Juventus, flop at Chelsea, flop at Atletico Madrid, flop at Real Madrid. And still he manages to somehow play in the every major international tournament in Spain. Again, doesn't make any sense. But yeah, this
yeah.
is what it is.
I think Morata is like he reminds me, of him. He reminds me of Fernando Morientes. Do you remember him?
Morientes was a fantastic player, man. Morientes was
He no,
a
but he
top goal
too.
scorer because
Like
the reason he
he
couldn't
was
play because he was playing with Raul and Ronaldo. They used to always
no,
the Ronaldo Nazario. They always start for Madrid and
yeah,
Atletico
but
Madrid.
uh,
Yeah,
my point being that see, even Morata had to leave Real Madrid eventually because of the lack of opportunities. So, like when
correct.
Morata was there,
And
there was
and he went to
Ronaldo and
Chelsea.
Benzema.
He went
Yeah,
he went to
but
Chelsea.
no, but Chelsea was a later thing. He did. Yeah, well, I mean, again, like Pogba, he has done well in his spells at Juventus. His second spell not so great, but his first spell was pretty good. It was all right. Like he was okay, okay. Um, and yeah, of course, Chelsea was like a big flop. Even I don't think at Atletico he set the world alight.
No,
So yeah,
after the Chelsea spell, wherever he's gone,
mhm.
he's not
Yeah, he
been,
has flop.
consistent. He's not been good. Only that spell at Juventus for 2 years, and that first year he played well. The second year also he was an
Yeah,
average striker. So I think he was a player with a whole lot of potential, but again failed to tick the boxes, failed to make a name for himself, and I'm surprised that his exclusion is there. Again, another surprise, Ansu Fati. Fantastic player, brilliant player. He may end up being one of the top talents, but look at the game time he's had in Barcelona. He's not started games for Barcelona. It's been Dembele and Rafinha. How many games has Fati started this season? You're still picking me up
mm.
I just don't get it. Koke again.
Yeah,
How I don't understand how can you pick Koke and who else was it? I think someone Sergio Busquets and not pick this guy uh, Thiago Alcantara. And I just don't understand.
yeah.
I
Fair
fail to
point there. Yeah, yeah, fair point. Like I do believe that you like I do understand that yeah, the sports selection is like it isn't making a lot of sense to a lot of people, but this is what he
Eric,
has gone with.
another one.
Yeah, so
He picked
yeah,
Eric Garcia. He picked Aspiculate. Aspiculate, okay, I understand. He's got a lot of flexibility. He can
experience.
versatile player, can play a wing back, center back. But Eric Garcia, you know, I just don't get it. Good. He plays for Barcelona, but he's not all that good. Come on, Ramos, Sergio
Yeah,
Ramos is a legend. He's a
I think
warrior. Still, he
I
can offer
actually
a
think
lot more than
that
Eric Garcia.
yeah, I think as you
I just,
mentioned earlier, there is a quite clear Barcelona connection in his
yeah,
selection.
yeah,
Like
that's
he
what I'm talking
prefers
about. Yeah,
Barcelona players. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, but the only one thing I would just like to point out, one possibility of an upset, not necessarily that it would happen, but in the previous World Cup, Germany lost to an Asian side and
Correct.
were eventually knocked out. I don't think Japan are that great right now, but is there potential upset there? I don't know. But
I don't think
I
so.
think Germany will be wary of it
No, no.
this time around. They'll be
Correct.
aware. And Costa Rica too. I mean, I don't see them troubling any of these, any of the European sides in this group. So yeah, Spain and Germany. I still think that Spain will top this group and Germany finishing second. So yeah, that would be my prediction. And yeah, let's move on to Group F. Okay, Group F is again it has two European teams in it, so I guess that's also straightforward. Yeah, we have Belgium, Canada, um, Morocco, and Croatia. What do you think, Divya?
I think Belgium and Croatia are the top teams, to go through, and the favorites, in Belgium, one of the teams that plays very well in the group stages. They mess it up in the knockout stages, but in the group stages they are just untouchable, and they've got some fantastic players, and I think they will easily top the group. Of course, Croatia will be the second one. But I think we need to watch out for Morocco. They've got some brilliant players. And Hakim Ziyech is a part of the Morocco team. And I think who else is there? Sofiane Boufal, the ex-West Ham player. He's part of the Morocco team. And, a couple of really good players. Again, anything can happen. They play really well in the African Nations Cup. And
Yeah,
unless Morocco and Belgium
yeah,
and Croatia do something stupid, I don't see Morocco upsetting them. They will give a good fight. They will not easily go out, but I think it will be Belgium and Croatia easily into the next round. Messi wins the UEFA Champions League, World Cup, 8 Ballon d'Or. I hope so, bro. I hope so.
I hope so too. Yeah,
Legend of a player,
yeah,
fantastic.
exactly.
What career he'll have, and I'll be
Yeah,
really happy. It can be Ronaldo, it can be Messi. Both these players have had a fantastic career, and if any one of them wins the World Cup, it'll be a
yeah,
brilliant end to their careers. I hope
exactly.
so.
It'll
Either
be
one of them
brilliant.
win the World Cup.
Yeah, it'll be brilliant for the fans. It'll be brilliant for Louis Vuitton. Uh, and anyway,
Argentina
so
to win the
but
cup.
Argentina, I think they are I mean, we have already covered their group, but Argentina are pretty strong favorites. Their form coming into the tournament is great. And yeah, I actually want this European hold of the World Cup to be broken. So I really hope that Argentina do win the World Cup. If it is a
Yeah.
non-European team, it has to be Argentina. So yeah, uh, I mean, if they win it, it'll be great. Finally, it'll be a non-European team, a South American team who would win it. So that'll be nice. Just coming back to the group, I do also think that I mean it's very straightforward. Belgium and Croatia are likely to win this. I think Croatia might actually top this group because Belgium are not in the best of forms apparently. Like they lost a friendly to Egypt like
Mhm.
recently. I don't know how. I mean,
Yeah,
although it is just a friendly.
another national team with a manager problem. Another national team with a manager problem. That's what I would call Belgium.
Mm. Who's their manager right now? Is it not Roberto Martinez anymore?
It is him. It is him. And I don't think he's a proper manager. Simply I don't.
Ah, okay.
I've followed,
Yeah.
followed his
So
career. He's in the top.
yeah,
The top quality. He had some of his weakness, his stubbornness is there, and I'm not just confident. Belgium, fantastic team, but again, manager issues.
yeah, and this is apparently the also set to be the last World Cup for their golden generation because this generation
Correct.
of
Yeah.
players where
Mm,
all of them are together. I think in the next World Cup we would probably still have Lukaku, De Bruyne, and those guys, but a lot of their current players, I believe like Alderweireld and all of those, uh,
Axel Witsel, I
will
think that's his last World Cup as well.
excellent. Yeah, I think it will
Yeah.
be there on the last World Cup for quite a few of them. So
Mm-hmm.
this World Cup is quite important for them. But I think Croatia will top this group. Belgium finishing second. Canada are,
Interesting.
yeah, they are an interesting team. They have, as I mentioned earlier, they have Alfonso Davis in there. They have David, who is also doing very well in the league.
Mhm.
So those two
Mhm.
players are gonna be, in the spotlight for them. But overall, obviously, I don't think they would be. I mean, the other team will be too strong for them. I think even Morocco will
Mhm.
outdo them because Morocco are quite a strong side as well. So yeah,
By
Croatia,
the way,
Belgium for Group S.
that the Brighton striker Leandro Trossard, he is playing for the Belgian national team. He's a Belgian player. I
Oh,
just checked out. Yeah. So
nice.
Trossard is a Belgian player. I didn't knew that. I don't know. I
Then I
never
didn't know
thought
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah. So Trossard is in the Belgian national team. Interesting player
good.
who had a very good form. And again, another
Yeah.
one to watch out. So yeah, go on, Prashant.
hmm Yeah. So moving on to Group G. Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. Okay, this is interesting. What do you think?
It's the most toughest group. And according to Samuel Eto'o, Cameroon are not just going to top this group. Cameroon are going to win the World Cup. It will be Cameroon versus Senegal, the World Cup
Okay.
finals. That's what Samuel Eto'o says, and
All right. So
Cameroon
then,
will
then I
end up
think
winning.
Cameroon are getting eliminated in group stage. Then
No, I mean,
what a horrible thing to say.
jokes apart, Cameroon
Uh,
are a fantastic team. Maybe not a Brazil, but then on their day they can beat top team. But I still think Brazil and Switzerland will be favorites to go in. Serbia's got fantastic players as well, but I think Switzerland has that knack of playing in the top international
yeah,
tournaments, and
experience.
they
Yeah,
somehow managed to get into the knockout stage, and they play really well. A lot of Switzerland players, they don't turn up that well for the club teams, but when they play at the international level, they are fantastic. In the international tournaments, they are brilliant. I remember the striker's name, but Bril Bolo. He's not all that good at club level, but whenever he plays for the Swiss national team, he's brilliant, fantastic. There are a lot of such players. Zalan Shakiri, another one. So again, I, it's a group of death, Group G, but I think Brazil and Switzerland will go through. That's my opinion.
yeah. Well, yeah, I also think I'll be Brazil and Switzerland, simply because, like on paper and as per the big tournament experience as well, these two teams know how to do it. They know how to get it
Mhm.
done. So yeah, it will be the two of them. And yeah, let's just move to the final group, the group of Ronaldo, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea. What do you think about
Another
this group?
interesting one. Another
hmm
interesting one. And I think Portugal and Uruguay. I think Uruguay will top the group and Portugal will be second. That's what my feeling is.
Yeah, you don't think Ghana will challenge them or cause any problems?
No, no, I didn't say that. Ghana will challenge them. But I think if you look at the overall player that these two teams have, I think they have the upper edge over Ghana. So unless I think I'm already putting Portugal second because I know they're going to do something stupid. The team that they should be winning the World Cup. That's brilliant team they have. But I don't again, issue with the coach. Not a top level coach. We
Yeah,
all saw what he did in Euros. Again, Portugal have such a brilliant team. Look at the players they have. Of course, I'm keeping Ronaldo aside, and of course Jota is injured. He's out. They've still got Bruno Fernandes. They've got Bernardo Silva, Ruben Neves,
Bernardo Silva, Wow,
the centre
Cancelo.
backs, João Cancelo, Diego Dalot,
Yeah,
the centre back Ruben Diaz, the
mm,
goalkeeper. Brilliant players they have. João Felix, another one. Fantastic players they have.
yeah,
They can actually go on to win the World Cup. But again, they mess up. I don't know what they do at the international stages. They messed up big time. I was expecting them to win the Euros, but they messed up big time. I hope they don't do it. But again, I think that's a coach issue, not playing the players in the right position and not getting the best out of them. Yes, that's what I feel of Santos, and let's hope it doesn't go there, and Portugal easily go on to the knockout stages. But from what I'm seeing, they always mess up, under this coach, even though after having such a fantastic team. So again, that's why I'm saying Uruguay will top the group and Portugal will finish second. Your thoughts?
yeah. I'm not sure if Uruguay would top the group. I mean,
Hmm.
their own form. I mean, they aren't exactly in the best of form themselves. So
Hmm.
maybe Portugal will still top this group because they won't play like they will not be winning with the most attractive or stylish football, but
Hmm.
Portugal will grind it out, I think, and they'll just get it through. So they will win the group. Uruguay will be second, and
Hmm.
yeah. So the other two sides again, I think Ghana are a good side, but I don't see them causing any problems. South Korea, they have players like Son Heung-min missing, right?
Hmm.
Apparently, so they aren't
Yeah.
really also in the best of shape. So Portugal, Uruguay, pretty straightforward. And yeah, that would be my prediction for the group stage. Hopefully, it does lead to a Portugal Argentina final, like a lot of the fans are hoping, or maybe somewhere earlier, maybe a quarterfinal or something. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it'll be one of the fantastic endings to both the careers. Getting into the final itself is a big achievement. I think Messi already achieved that. His Argentina team finished second in that World Cup in Brazil, and they had a fantastic tournament. I think Higuain missed a golden opportunity, and that actually cost them. But I think yes, this is one of the one of the best opportunities for Argentina to win the World Cup because with the team that they have, it's just brilliant, just fantastic, uh, and the depth, talent of they have in the striking department. If you look at it, they are
Hmm.
so blessed to have such wonderful strikers in their team,
Yeah.
and of course, they are blessed to have the best player on the pitch playing for them. So again, I think Argentina have got a very wonderful opportunity. Now, a personal question, Prashant, to you. Which team are you supporting in this World Cup?
Well, for World Cup, I have actually been regularly supporting Argentina, uh, and like you, I mean, since like we have worked together, and something for our viewers to know, that is the reason why in all of my offices I have got the nickname Messi because the first organization where I worked,
Hmm.
that was in 2010. Like that was the first organization where I was working and where I played football. That was in 2010. The World Cup was on. It was coming up in a few weeks, and they had an internal tournament. So we were supposed to choose a nation, and I chose Argentina, and I wore Argentina's jersey, which happened to be Messi, to have Messi's name on it.
Hmm.
So that is what I wore back then. And people who didn't know me, they just started calling me Messi. And that name kept carrying forward because a lot of people from that organization also joined the next organization where you and I work together. So that's how that is the legacy of that name. So yeah, that's why I support Argentina. And even during this World Cup, I will be supporting Argentina. Yes. What about you?
Yeah. My choice, and I've always support different teams, different World Cup. I don't have any personal favorite. 2014 was one World Cup, where I had very high hopes for Netherlands. I enjoyed watching them. They were so brilliant. Robin van Persie, Daley Blind, Ian Robben, what a team they had, Wesley Sneijder. And I really
Yeah,
thought, they will go on to win the World Cup. They just lost in the penalty shootout. Disappointing end, but I really thought, our Netherlands were the favorite to win that World Cup. They had such a fantastic team. And, I for one thought that if somehow they would manage to win that penalty shootout, they would have beaten Germany in the final. Of course, Germany were looking strong, but Netherlands team was very balanced, playing together as a group, and they were so confident. And I thought, that was one World Cup where I was very closely attached to Netherlands. 2018, I didn't care much. I thought, I thought, France were the favorites, and I did support Portugal, and then Portugal messed up again. And again, this World Cup, I have a different choice. I'm going for a choice which is more of a, I would say, a team that has built legacy at the World Cup. Has got a legendary status at the World Cup. Brazil. I really like the team because of the depth of the squad they have, the attacking options they have, the midfield they have, and of course the defense itself. People are talking about Argentina and Portugal, but I think we also need to watch out Brazil and Germany, two of the teams that people are not much talking about, but then those
yeah,
two
but they
teams
always
will have a
perform in World
big
Cup.
impact. Exactly. So,
Yeah,
and that's why I
yeah,
think Brazil, if you look at the team that they are, man, fantastic team. The attack, you look at it, Rafinha, Neymar, um, Richarlison. I think Richarlison is out, I think, right? So, but still, they have a lot
yeah.
of players. I'm not sure about Gabriel Jesus. Even Jesus is out, right? Gabriel Jesus is not participating. They have Anthony,
I'm not
they have
aware.
Rafinha.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
midfield is also really, good. And I think good chance for Brazil to win the World Cup. And all in all, if I speak um, as teams in the World Cup, this is going to be a very competitive one compared to the 2018 World Cup. A lot of teams are having good experience, good players, and most of the players for them it will be the last World Cup. Apart from Ronaldo and Messi, there are many players, who will not be playing. I think Kevin De Bruyne is one of them. I think he's 31 years of age, so maybe it's the last World Cup for him. There are so many such players in the national team who will not be playing international game after this World Cup. So again,
Yeah.
very competitive. I expect this to be. The host nation, Qatar. I think we would like to see them at least win one match because they are the host, and tomorrow they have a good game against Ecuador. Ecuador is a top team, so let's see how they perform. But yes, all in all, I feel this is going to be a very competitive World Cup compared to how it was in Russia. But yes, only time will tell. But I'm expecting this to be a very good World Cup. A lot of people are criticizing the Qatar World Cup for other reasons, but I think this is going to be a lot more competitive than people actually think.
Okay. Yeah. Well, first thing is that one really good point here is that almost everyone, like almost all of the teams participating, like the major teams, it is a new place for all of them. Like this is maybe we can compare this to what happened in South Korea, Japan. That the conditions
Hmm.
here are totally
Correct.
alien to everyone. The fans don't know what to expect. The players don't know what to expect. No one knows. So
Yeah.
on
You're
that
right.
end, yes, I think it'll be good. I actually think 2018 was a good World Cup in terms of competitiveness and everything. I think it had the I mean, okay, people had questions about the host there as well, but still, it felt like a European World Cup, like a World Cup which
Yeah.
was properly hosted. It had that European feel, so it just felt like a proper vintage World Cup in the end. Uh, so yeah, but here it will be interesting to see how the weather affects the players because it was the reason it is obviously the World Cup was moved to November was that it was expected to be cooler, but it is still 30 degrees and people are still complaining about it and saying that it is so hot, which is because people are not used to it. Especially the Western crowd the people from Western countries, the players, the new staff, and everyone, they would not be used to 30 degrees centigrade. That is still hot for them. So that would be an interesting aspect, and I think that's where teams like probably Argentina and Brazil would have why any South American team might do better because they are more used to playing in hot conditions. Given that okay, but there will be a counter here that most of the top players for the South American team anyway play in Europe. Yes, but they are still experienced in playing in warm conditions of up to 30 degrees. That is something that they have done previously in their life in South America at some point of their life. Europeans will not have had that much of exposure of playing in such a
Hmm.
heat. That is going to be a crucial factor.
Yeah.
With regards to the off the field topics for the World Cup, I will say that it's not obviously something within our jurisdiction or control or whatever, but it is unfortunate that a place like Qatar was chosen. But we will just, for now, as fans, we will just celebrate the World Cup, and that's what we can do. I mean, there has been enough criticism out there anyway for how the World Cup was awarded, how the World Cup is being set up, and so many things. You know, just one thing because for our viewers and a question to you. There have been there have been media reports that people who have been a lot of the fans who have been supporting teams like Argentina, England, Germany, and all of them. It just and the reporters went there and they just saw that they are filled with Indian people, uh, Kerala people from Kerala. Uh, Now a lot of them just went out and straight away said that okay, so these guys are just fake. They aren't even real. That obviously we being Indians, we know that Kerala has a long connection with football, and there has been like one
Hmm.
tweet was very published uh,
Hmm.
stating that Kerala has a long connection with football. They have in Kerala there's an Argentina fan club, for example, so things like that. What is your point of view here uh, with regards to that? How do you view this? Do you really think that it is that bad that people are going to have to be paid to support, or do you think that these are genuine supporters?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the last part. What do you say about after the Kerala part? What do you say? Do you feel what?
Do you, do you think that do you think the supporters are genuine? Firstly, second thing, like okay, those were Indian supporters, whether paid or not. Do you think that the fans from other countries have arrived in such a low number that this is what Qatar has to, resort to?
See, first of all, the way the the organization was, and I didn't particularly like it. The lottery system, and then you have to book it on a specific website, and the cost is different for a Qatari, a cost is different for a person coming from outside Qatar, and someone. If I have a friend who stays in Qatar, he can't book tickets for me. Loads and loads of restrictions. It quite became a bit annoying. It looked more like they were not interested in selling tickets. They were interested in making how interesting ways to make money, how to get more money out of this. I saw a ticket for World Cup final. The lowest price ticket was around 15,000 fucking euros. 15,000 fucking euros was the cost of a final World Cup. An ordinary man like me or you can we afford to spend 15,000 euros on a single World Cup ticket? It always be like a dream for us. That's a sad situation. And also it was like a lottery system. You have to place your name and then I just didn't understand that. To be honest, I thought it was a waste of time. One of my friends who stays in Qatar, he he was like when the tickets went live, the first part, they had sold tickets in different phases. So in the first phase, he's a Portugal fan, so he had to stay awake and be on the internet for 8 hours, just to register himself for that lottery, and that's how annoying it was. So maybe if they could have organized it better, the crowd outside. They could have attracted more crowd, and of course, you know, let's not talk about the political and the things that have been said about Qatar and everything. And to be honest, Europeans shouldn't be talking about the injustice and after years of what they have done in the past, so they don't get to judge Qatar. And
Yeah,
yes, maybe I don't agree with a lot of things that have happened. The Qatar is against LGBTQ. They're not supporting them, and FIFA is someone who promotes them. And let's also keep aside the beer controversy. There'll be no beer sold in the stadium. But again, if you are someone who's going to sit in a VIP box, all the alcohol will be served to you. Again, not the right way to organize a World Cup. And I think rather than blaming Qatar or blaming other fans from other countries, I would blame FIFA for this. FIFA is in the center of this. Whatever happened during the construction of stadiums, to whatever happened, whatever is about the rules in Qatar, people not agree to it. The way this World Cup was given to Qatar itself was not right. We all know behind the scenes what happened, and ideally, maybe that shouldn't have happened. But then once the hosting rights was given to Qatar, you just cannot blame them. You can't say that beer is not because it's the country's religion and ritual. You've got to respect that. Maybe I don't like it, but it's not in my country, it's in their country. You've got to respect that. And at the end of the day, now we have to keep aside all that and focus on the most important thing, that is the World Cup and the games in the World Cup. And on as a fan, I can only hope that this World Cup brings a lot of competitive games. It goes down till the end, and each and every knockout stage game goes out to 90 minutes. That's what, as a fan, I'm expecting. If it ends up being a fantastic World Cup in terms of competitiveness, everything else will be forgotten. My opinion, and I'm sure people will disagree to me. Some will agree to me that that's what I think. Football will at the end of the day take over everything. If this goes on to be a very competitive World Cup, people will forget rest of the things. That's my opinion.
okay. My point of view here, and like, I have also been like because of our own field, of the field where we work, like I have been, Qatar is obviously geographically close to India, so I do get a lot of updates from Qatar. Like I have some friends there too,
Mm.
so uh, it's just strange. The thing is that this World Cup is not organized to be a fans World Cup. That's the sad part. Even if you like,
Mm.
even if it was for Qatari locals or Middle Eastern locals, they would still have some difficulty to access
Mm.
it. Uh, Simply because of the fact that the prices are just crazy high, and it is more like, as you mentioned, it's more like a, cash cow rather than a World Cup. And may I ask you, have you heard, like right before, just a few hours before we started recording this video, there was an interview given by Gianni Infantino. Have you come across that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard of that. I've read the quotes and everything. So I know,
Hilarious.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
I don't want to use this word, but it is actually hilarious how he says it. It's like, and again, he actually made the same point which you made, that the Europeans cannot really lecture a country like Qatar. They have no right
Yeah.
to anyone in the world. But
Mm.
that being said, what Gianni Infantino mentioned in his speech was hilarious. It's so like so stupid. Like I saw one of the reports, like someone else, I believe it was Sky Sports who were covering it, and the guy, Dharmesh Sheikh, he put it very well. He said that it seemed to me that before giving the speech, Gianni Infantino had one too many bottles of beer before giving the speech. And I think uh, that beer would not be possible because it is in Qatar. Uh, I actually felt more like he had smoked something up, but again, that is also not available in Qatar. So either of these are definitely true. I don't know what he consumed. We can actually have a make a video about that. What did Gianni Infantino consume? But taking a mockery of it, the more the World Cup is going along, FIFA are actually losing their attention. So I just hope as football wins at the end of the day, as you mentioned, and let's just hope that it all works out overall. Okay, just coming off from the World Cup, there was one other huge thing that happened while we were away. Cristiano Ronaldo sat across Piers Morgan, had a one-on-one chat with him like we had, and made some explosive revelations. What do you think? How many things of the interview are real? How many parts of the things that he said do you agree with or disagree with? And do you overall support Ronaldo here, or do you support the club, or do you think that you support the club but not the players?
Before I give my verdict out and my thoughts on this, I just want to say, as Manchester United fans, though I love Ronaldo and as his legendary status is not going to change, nothing's going to change that. What is achieved at this club, or nothing changes that. But we got to keep in mind, Ronaldo is the past, Eric Ten Hag's the future. So at the end of the day, it's pointless to debate who's right and who's wrong. Ronaldo needs to go, and I'm sure he will be gone. After the World Cup, he won't return to Old Trafford, and we've got to back Eric Ten Hag. That's the way out. He's the future. He's got a good start. People will agree to disagree, and but yes, right now we got to get behind Eric Ten Hag, support him, and most important thing is needs a striker. Now that Ronaldo is gone, a striker is required in the January transfer window. And coming back to Ronaldo's interview, I thought it was just interview to clear his side. He wanted to say things that he had kept in his heart, and I thought he wanted to say that in the first week of September he thought that he would be moving to a different club, but that didn't happen, and so he kept quiet, and I think you could Ronaldo fans can say that he was not done right, and Manchester United fans can say Eric Ten Hag is right in every way to do what he has to do. But at the end of the day, this entire situation, the entire fiasco is the club's responsibility. I blame Manchester United executives, the people at the top for handling the way this. I'm not talking about Glazers. Glazers, we always hate them. We all know what Glazers are. So I don't think it's. But I'm really focused on here is Richard Arnold and John Muto. You know, John Muto deserves a sacking for this. Sporting director, the way the situation is handled since the last January, since Ralph Ragnick has come in. The amount of leaks that has gone out of the club, it's continued to go on and on and on. Kept on going on in the transfer window. It kept on going on after Eric Ten Hag came, and now this Ronaldo interview. I think Eric Ten Hag as a manager deserves a sack. Sorry, John Muto as a sporting director deserves a sacking. My bad. John Muto as a sporting director deserves sacking, and the way the situation is handled, I don't agree to that. You know, they could have done lot better. Ronaldo was upset, because he had lost his kid earlier, and his second kid was unwell. As a father, everyone would be worried. If it was me, maybe even I would have not turned up to the training. I would have asked for more personal space, and you got to respect that. But what I don't understand is going after the manager in public, and then he's not just gone after Eric Ten Hag, he's gone after Ralph Ragnick as well. The thing that he said about Ralph Ragnick, again, shouldn't have said that. Again, he's got his points as well, bringing him on in
Yeah,
the last 3 minutes. A player of that ego, you cannot just bring him on for the 3 minutes. Again, Eric Ten Hag wanted to prove that who is the boss. And maybe, out of this, one thing is good that, this drama that's been going on for the last 6 months will come to an end. Ronaldo will leave, will move on. I don't think his legendary status will change. He'll still be a legend at the club, but I don't think there's any coming back. He won't be welcomed at Old Trafford. Manchester United will work out a way to tear up that contract. without paying any of his, salary. And the only best part here is that we forget about it, we move on, and the only person who benefits from this entire interview is Piers Morgan.
Yeah, he has definitely benefited. But I think notice, like, okay, do not, let's just focus on the I mean, the results here, okay, of that one. And a wonderfully club he has been trying to engineer to move away from United anyway. So now that if I'm just looking at the larger picture, this was expected. He basically, uh, I don't know if he has taken inspiration from Lord Luck, but it seems to have worked. Uh, like he wanted to get a move away, he'll be getting that now. But here's the thing: during the transfer window, I remember very well that Ronaldo had made a statement on his Instagram, on his social media, stating that a lot of lies are being circulated and peddled about him. When the time comes, I will reveal a lot of things. And so, if I just take that into consideration, this falls in line with that. And what I'm surprised about here is the way, like a lot of media are covering it. That, see, I understand that obviously the player is not bigger than the club. We all know that. It's not like in any stretch of imagination, we cannot see Ronaldo staying at it or wearing the United jersey. That's that. That is all granted. Yes, perfect. But uh, the media has been saying that ever since Eric and Hag has taken over, we have had United have been actually progressing. They have made a lot of changes in the technology and this and that in their training centers. They are moving forward as a club. I don't think they are. Eric and Hag, yes, they are making progress as a team, but as a club, in terms of their structure, they are not. Ronaldo is right about that. That they still have the which you mentioned, like everything is exactly the way it was when he left. So 2009. So that is an absolutely correct statement, and that does. I hope that that actually inflicts pressure on the Glazers to just sell the club. I don't see them improving the club anyway. They don't even know how to run a club. So I think I totally support on that. And I'll tell you what, down the line, and when, if and when the club is sold. So we now know, like as per one of the latest updates, we now know that the British billionaire who was initially interested has also backed out. He also publicly stated that we do not wish to sell the club. But that being said, uh, when the club does get sold, people will look back at this interview and mention that this has an important point. Mark my words on that. Apart from that, as a player, of course, Ronaldo is going to move on. I hope, and I mean, on that note, I'll just bring. I would just like to bring your attention to something we just discussed, like before starting the podcast. Is the picture that you click with Leo Messi for Louis Vuitton. Uh, so we see they are both uh, kind of coming into their centers. They are like, okay, yeah, we are both not doing well now. Let's just work together. So if they have agreed to work for Louis Vuitton, maybe they will, and play. We can play, see them playing together somewhere. Uh, and they will need to fit in the Miami, right? That's where maybe seeing them next season, or maybe Ronaldo signs for PSG. Who knows? I mean, we can just hope. Say that. But if that does happen, it'll be a dream team. What do you think about that?
I think it's very unlikely. Yeah, but never say never. We've seen impossible things happen in the past, so this might even end up being true. But I think it's a very long shot. We hope to see both of them playing for the same team one day. And if that happens, I'll be the most happiest person. And because two are the best, and as we got to thank God, we've been blessed to be playing, to be watching two of the best footballers. We've followed their entire career, you and I. From the time they started playing. Both these players, they were young from that time till today. We've been test the entire careers. Got to consider ourselves very lucky. And yeah, I mean, if they play together, it's an icing on the cake for us fans who have watched their entire career, followed both these two players. So yes, I would really love that to happen. But again, it's a very long shot, and I think it is highly unlikely that it would happen. But yeah, in football, there's a great saying, about Fabrizio Romano, never say never, you know. So yeah, and
I,
the
uh,
picture you're talking about is right in front of you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I'll tell you why I feel this is likely is because
Mm,
both of these players now again they have been rivals throughout their career, but they have not had like a personal rivalry. It was a sporting rivalry. Now, generally, what happens in such a case is that, like, is that once they are closer to their peak, right? Once they are in the twilight of their careers, they understand each other and they just kind of respecting each other. Like Ronaldo also mentioned him in the interview, right? That he respects them and they respect each other quite a lot, and that is understandable that they would respect each other, of course, because they are both great players, but they are not like enemies or they're just professional rivals. So on those terms, looking at how I have always been, ever since I've heard of this, I have the picture that I have had in my head is about One and Tendulkar. Like they were,
mm,
supposedly rivals throughout their career, and once their careers ended, they had a cricket match, right, where we had a Warm 11 against a Tendulkar 11. Again, as you mentioned,
correct.
that's a far example. It's a long shot still, but it is something that I would be hoping to see something. So yeah, again, both of these players, if they do play together, they would already be at the twilight of their career. So not
Mm.
necessary that would be them at their best, but still it'll be worth. And yeah, that would be about it from me for today. I think these are the points that have happened. We have from them. Is there anything else you would like to add, Sylvia?
No, and that'll be all. And it was really nice talking about the World Cup. And as the tournament progresses, we will do the watch alongs as and when we get time from our regular work. But yes, it's always fun to talk to you, Prashant, about the game, especially with someone of your knowledge, in-depth articles that you read and and analyze the game. So it's really good talking to you and knowing the opinion of the fans as well. You know, major international tournament is going to start tomorrow. Qatar versus Ecuador. I'll be excited watching the game. Even it's not the game of high level competitiveness, but still the first game of the World Cup. I'll surely watch. I would love to see how Qatar plays in that game. Also Ecuador, dark horses. So don't count them out as well. But yeah, excited to see the tournament and like I said, if everything goes right, if this World Cup ends up being a very competitive World Cup, all that's happened wrong in the build-up to the World Cup will be forgotten. And the only good thing that is going to remember, people are going to remember, is the game and how this World Cup panned out to be sporting wise. So that's what I feel, and I hope that it at the end of the day, game football wins. Is the winner. That's what I hope. And yeah, that's all about from me. It was nice talking to you, Prashant. And yes, as the tournament progresses, we'll keep on doing the videos and have fun. It's always nice speaking about football. And it's late here. Good night, Prashant. And we'll meet you soon. And good night,
You
viewers. Make sure to like,
also.
subscribe to our video. And yeah, bye for now.
Good night, everyone.